Delighted to be having another conversation with author, creator, educator, Jason Waltz. Jason, thank you for joining.
Do I get like a jacket for coming back for the
Absolutely.
second? Thanks, man. I'm gonna look for that in the
Yeah.
mail, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a total SNL thing. It's
Yeah.
like the Five Timer Club. Absolutely. There's a jacket. There might be a coaster in it for you as well.
Oh, you've stepped up your game.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you. We like to take care of guests. Absolutely. Somebody out there is going to think I'm serious too,
I
but
know,
I will
right.
order coasters. I will get coasters. Um, well, glad to be talking about this new avenue and creating the flip side. And I know that this is a book that Jason Reynolds just gave a shout out to. Yet another Jason.
Can't beat that. Like that really did make my I was gonna say day, but it's made my month. Jason Reynolds is just amazing. Like it's
He is.
ridiculous that he even read it. Yeah.
Yeah. So many good Jasons out there. And you actually started in the education world. You're of course known for the Last Pick trilogy. And I think at this point I've read everything you published, everything that's out there. What's it like to now be on this path of working with Penguin and getting shout outs from Jason Reynolds and all of those kind of things?
It's all the same. It's all the same. Like, and not in a bad way, but it's Penguin is a huge publisher, but I have a small imprint of Penguin, Rocky Pond, by the amazing editor Lori. And she has made being part of this massive sort of machine feel intimate and small. And they've really taken care of me there. So I guess I mean, it's the best of all worlds, I guess. You get the marketing machine of Penguin, and then you get the brilliance of a small editor or a small imprint and the editor of Lori. So it's been all good.
Cool. Yeah, and I know
Yeah.
that you've been talking about this book for a while, and for folks out there that don't know, graphic novels take a lot of time to put together. There's a long gestation process, creation, script to page, all of those things. Uh, I imagine there were additional parts of the process like changes, revisions, anything that you'd like to speak to that as far as how that was.
Yeah, and this one took longer than most. So after the Last Pick trilogy, I went back. So I've been teacher off and on for 23 years in special education. I went back to teaching right around that amazing time of 2020, 2019 actually. But And right around that time, my best friend died of cancer. This is very much what the flip side is about. Maybe we'll dip into that a little more, but I'm just going to give context of how this all started. So he died of cancer, and then my school, um, like everyone else's school, became really strange with COVID. Everyone left the building. I still went into the building. I was the only one there, just because my wife worked from home. So I was set up in an empty classroom by myself. I was meeting with my special ed students, 18 to 21-year-olds. We were all scared, all worried. It was like, I mean, there was no education happening there. It was just sort of a community of like, let's get together and sort of take care of each other. Um, and then George Floyd was murdered, and the protest took place right outside of our school building. Part of it got destroyed. But I was just all that to say I had sort of a first person, real close view of like some really traumatic things happening around us. And anyway, when I wasn't trying to be comforting my students and being comforted by my students online, I started sketching out ideas. So that's all that to say that was my beginning of Flipside, and that was 5 years ago. That's longer than usual for me to work on a book, but I think it came out of something pretty dark and heavy, and it is about something pretty dark and heavy. And I had to sort of sit in that for a little while. But with that amount of time, I think it also gave me some perspective to make it a really fun adventure through it all, because I don't want it to be like this homework read of grief.
Hmm.
I needed there to be some fun in it, because what's the point otherwise? Life can be hard, but we really got to keep looking up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So many heavy events and so many personal things that have happened to a lot of people through the past 5. 6, 7 years. Uh, Anything that you'd like to say about that power of art, that power of storytelling to process anything like that?
Yeah, I've fallen back on that countless times now. My first book, well, first no. Most comic people have been making books since they were, too scared to go outside and play sports as kids. My first book that got widely published was called Homesick. It was about me losing my mom to cancer, and that was extremely cathartic. I took 6 months off from work then to work on that, and that was a really healthy experience for me. Flip side, in the same way, really healthy. I think 5 years working on it was a long time to sort of be sitting in the grief. And I'm feeling the positivity of going through that now that I'm on the other side of it. There is a
Hmm.
lightness that comes with putting that to the side. So all that to say, 5 years is maybe a little longer than I'll do again on such a heavy topic. But I think it needed to be that way. I needed that to come out the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Anything that you'd like to say about kind of that creative process? I know that there are lots of decisions that go into representing a world that's turned upside down. Anything that you took onto the page that way?
Yeah, the funniest thing, I had no idea, but like drawing it upside down, having your characters navigate a world flipped upside down, meaning you're walking on the ceiling. It was way trickier than I ever expected. It was so tricky to draw that. And I would like complain online and be like, drawing an upside down world's hard. Everybody's like, just turn the paper upside down. I was like, nah, it doesn't work like that. Like if you've got steps you have to navigate to get from one floor to another, it becomes a real MC Escher sort of way of figuring that out. But that was so fun. It was like constantly a puzzle. So if they're walking on the ceiling of this, mall, how do they get to the first floor? That's 3 floors up from there. That was a lot of fun. Um, and if you don't mind, I'm going to dive into sort of like where it all came from. So
I would
my
love
my
that.
my
Yeah.
great. Yeah, so my friend who died, his name's Chris. He wrote a short story called Rooted. He and I made tons of movies together that are not very good. We did a bunch of comics and screenplays together, not very good, but I mean, we've just had a blast just creating together. One of the short stories he did on his own before he died was called Rooted. You can read it on my website. I encourage everybody to. It's a good read. It is about a world turned upside down. There's a dad trying to keep his 2 kids alive. He's dealing with his own struggles as a father, the character is, and as a grieving husband. So when Chris was dying, like he really just wanted me to do anything with that story. He always wanted me to do anything with any of his stories because he wasn't able to get them out into the world. I was never able to do anything with his stories because they were his.
Hmm.
Um, when he died, though, the metaphor of a world turned upside down after loss just felt really resonant to me, and I couldn't shake it. So um, I even made him a cover to a short story, and it was a house turned upside down and a tire swing dangling from it. And that really was my anchor for the whole book, was that first image we drew together forever ago. I think why I'm saying all that is first of all, read the short story. Do it for Chris. Check it out on my website. But the DNA of the world was always there. Before I ever started drawing this, I knew exactly what it was going to look like. I just needed to come up with a story about loss, losing a friend that was the adventure that navigated that space. Yeah.
Yeah. And that you're talking about sort of the fun, the adventure, the escapism. There is that part of your work as well, but taking on really big questions and doing it in a science fiction sort of way. And I know we've talked before about some of the influences that you have in the science fiction world as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you and I probably, I mean, guys our age, guys with our beards, guys with our glasses, it's amazing how many of the same touchstones we have
Mhm.
going back. And right now I have a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I'm showing them old Spielberg movies. They like them in the way that they tolerate that their dad really appreciates them.
Mhm.
And I realized that I showed them, what did we watch the other day? Raiders of the Lost Ark or Last Crusade, one of those. Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they're like, yeah, it was good. And then I talked to him a little while longer and I explained that like people really doing those stunts. And that's something they couldn't wrap their head around because they've only seen movies and TV shows where like very rarely is somebody putting themselves in a real peril anymore. And then
Hmm.
they're like, oh, um, I think I'm saying that just to be like, okay, I got them hooked now to understand why that to pay a little better attention. But Spielberg, I think, was a huge influence on the flip side, which has surprised me a lot. I don't think I think about old Spielberg movies that much, but they're inside of me 100%.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so all that to say, if there's going to be a scene of a lot of like table setting, a character needs to get this thing across. What Spielberg did so well is like there's going to be two or three other things happening in that scene that doesn't make it feel like homework. And I
Hmm.
think I naturally try to make sure that happens. If there's going to be an action scene, it's not just going to be a point A to point B. There's going to be character development along the way, and it's going to move the plot along in some interesting way too. So I had that in mind through all the action scenes. I wanted the action to develop the characters and develop the themes the whole time. So as much as like any monster movie sci-fi, it's old Spielberg for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And, may I ask what is on your drawing table behind you right now?
Oh, oh yeah. So secret project. So I'll say for
Nice.
people who don't know, there's a lot of ways to get your books out into the world. I do it the old-fashioned way. That is, I put together a pitch for me, and there's 1,000 ways to do a pitch too. Some people that are really good at writing out their script or their synopsis, which might just be a few paragraphs of what it's going to be. Maybe they just need a few drawings to show somebody. I'm not that good at that part. I have to usually do a full chapter and a synopsis so they can see what it's going to be. And they're like, all right, I see what you're going for. And then I might get the
Hmm.
green light to make the book. So right now I'm putting together about 30 pages of what will be hopefully a book that the next publisher will pick up. Um, this one's very personal. I had a very strange religious upbringing. My wife likes to call it Footloose before Kevin Bacon shows up. It's a little bit culty for sure. So it's going to dive into some of that. But I do have another book coming out probably next year. I'm wrapping
Oh,
that one
wow.
up right now, also through it with Penguin. So I got enough to keep me busy for a little while. But I can, yeah, I'll show off a page just because maybe that helps. I draw again in the old-fashioned way. I'm on paper. A lot of people I work with now are using tablets. I just don't know how to do it. I do mine on 11 by 17. I'm going to reach up here and grab one of my books.
Hmm.
Um, so you can see the difference. It gets shrunk down to about that.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, blue pencil, then I go over with black ink brush.
Yeah. Love the use of shadow and light up there in the top panel.
Thanks. Matt Kent, if you don't know who Matt Kent is, people out there, he's one of the best, in my opinion, one of the greatest living comic creators. I love him so much. He had a
Hmm.
post once where he's like, if I'm ever worried I didn't use enough black ink, I didn't use enough black ink. So I think about that a lot. I was like, nah, I need to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fill in those blacks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one final question on the book, and then we can tell
Mhm.
people where to find it. You mentioned that catharsis and you mentioned that process. So, just curious if there's anything you'd like to say once the book was completed out in the world. What was that like for you?
Um, oh, that's always exciting. I mean, a new book out in the world. This one is especially, I'm very attuned to how people are feeling about it. I think we all went through a lot through COVID, and we've all
Hmm.
gone through a lot through 1,000 other things, and we're definitely all go through a lot right now. And I think we get used to being like, well, it's happening to everybody. The world is just really hard right now. That doesn't mean it's not really hard for you or to anyone else. Like, I think we maybe don't realize how much we're carrying inside because so many other people are. Um, Mental health it's important to take care of yourself. So that's what this is about. It's really about saying that tough things are happening, tough things have happened. Um, don't forget to look up. Like there's ways that things can be better. So I
Hmm.
really want to be supportive and reach out to teens out there that maybe have lost a friend. I talk a lot about how it might be difficult to have people understand what it's like to lose a friend. That maybe gets forgotten quicker than it is if you lose a spouse or a child or a parent, but losing a friend can sit with you for a really long time. This is a book that says, I feel it, I get it, you're not alone. Um, there's people that love you. So so it's really on my mind. I hope it connects with the right people. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. Very well said. Very well said.
Thanks.
And where can people find out more about you, about the book, and the projects that are on the way?
Yeah. So my website is my first and last name with an extra W in between. So Jason W. Walls. You can find out everything you can find all sorts of stuff about that book. Again, you can read Rooted. I haven't released much about my next book coming out. I'll do that once sort of this the launch is dying down for Flipside. I'll talk more about what's next. But really, this book is it's available everywhere. I'm really bad at pushing my own stuff, but I'm going to try to do it right now and just say, hey, I'm super proud of it. Pick
Mhm.
it up. And if you like it, please let somebody else know. Even better, um, write a review somewhere. It all helps. If you like
Yeah,
what creators are doing out there, stick a review out there somewhere. It makes a world of difference. But yeah,
absolutely. Good stuff. Always good work and interesting work from you. And certainly glad to have you back here anytime. Did we miss anything that you want to make sure to share?
no, Jason, your podcast is doing great though. It's good. I'm
Well,
so glad you're keeping this up.
I enjoy it and always glad to share about quality books and things of that nature. And like I said, you and I have talked a few times now, so I always look forward to it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.